Like this video and subscribe to the channel right now, and get 1 week of amazing luck. The Earth is a weird and wonderful place at times, and this list of things you can find underground. Whether it is taking on a landscaping project or you have just moved into a new home and are renovating the parking lot, here are some of the scariest things found buried underground. Number 10. Giant of China. You might not believe me if I told you that giants once roamed the earth, but watch this video and let me try to explain. In a town close to Shandong province in China, scientists were digging when they came upon some enormous bones. They initially believed these belonged to a large animal, but they quickly recognized they were human remains, and there was a group of these enormous humans buried beneath the surface. These individuals, who stood over a foot taller than anyone else in the area at the time, inexplicably perished and were interred together. Considering that the skeletons are 5,000 years old and that China is one of the world's shortest nations, these guys would have been giants at the time. That only adds to the mystery and awe of these enormous skeletons. Why were they all buried together? Who were they? How did they die? Number 9. Cursed money. Have a look at the money that is cursed. If you discovered some cash buried underground, you probably would believe it to be your lucky day. However, after learning about this case, you could reconsider. When Wayne Sebage was gardening in his backyard in 2011, he discovered a sizable sum of money hidden there in plastic bags. The bags contained more than $150,000 in total. At the time, Wayne was unemployed and believed his luck had finally turned around, but his 87-year-old neighbor informed him that the money belonged to her instead. The woman claimed that she buried the money because she thought it was cursed. That may sound far-fetched, but here's where things get crazy. Eventually, Wayne was awarded the money by a court, but he died just 10 days before he was set to collect the money. Soon after, Wayne's father suffered a heart attack, and not long after that, Wayne's neighbor also passed away. If this money is cursed, it literally killed everyone involved in this story. Would you accept this cursed money? Number 8. Discovery in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, USA, construction workers were bringing down a parking lot when they stumbled onto something quite unsettling. New buildings were meant to be built, but the employees had to wait while they dug up the ground instead. They discovered numerous caskets underground before doing this. They were astonished to find one, but as more and more were found caskets that were more than 300 years old and held actual human skeletons, they became increasingly alarmed. There used to be a graveyard here, and the people in charge of moving the caskets were caught lying when they claimed to have done so years ago, when in fact they were merely buried beneath the ground. They most likely did this to save money. In other words, vehicles had been parked over corpses for a very long time. Who is to say what sort of curses these drivers may have? Number 7. Garbage can with head. We need to look at a trash can that was discovered in a forest. Metal Detecting 24 was using his metal detector in the forest when his equipment began to sound. He cleared some leaves and discovered some wood boards, and beneath the wood, he discovered a metal trash can. It was subterranean and obviously had been for a long time. The man opened the lid, expecting the worst, and saw something extremely eerie inside. A female mannequin's head was present, and the right side of her skull had a blade attached to it. Although it may appear to be a joke, the fact that it was buried so deeply shows that whoever did it wanted to keep it hidden. Some speculate that this might have been a killer preparing for the real thing, but this terrifying garbage can is still unsolved to this day. Metal Detecting 24 found this quite unsettling. He swiftly fled the area after that. I'm not sure if he dialed 911 or not, but I really hope he did, because it really does seem like something a serial killer may do for amusement. It's a good thing whoever put this here wasn't lurking in the woods at the same time as this YouTuber. Number 6. Mafia House. We have to look at a mafia house. A man named Charles is checking out a house for sale in Las Vegas. The mafia once owned the property, but while giving the tour, he discovers a false wall in the kitchen and a hidden flight of stairs down to a hidden basement. Charles travels through a long stretch of the basement before reaching a white chamber that is empty. 2 more little rooms are connected to this one. The 2 smaller rooms are soundproof and gloomy, maybe to muffle screams. It's frightening to consider that no one could escape from these soundproof chambers, as there are only doorknobs on the outside, making the situation much more terrifying. Additionally, a single bullet casing in another room indicates that someone was probably shot there. The house appears to be really large, but I would be far too afraid to live there if the mafia returned. Number 5. The sounds of hell. Ever wondered what hell sounds like? Some Soviet scientists actually discovered the answer to that question. The Kola Super Deep Borehole, the deepest hole ever dug, is located on the Kola Peninsula in Russia and extends 7.5 miles underground. The goal of Soviet scientists was to reach the Earth's core. The Mariana Trench, the deepest region of our oceans, is not deeper than this crater, but it has not reached the Earth's core. Because it was so hot, once they had passed through the Earth's crust, they were forced to abandon the project, achieving 356 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures. Unbelievably, the scientists only managed to record one audio file before their microphone melted. This is how it appeared to be. It's widely believed that this sounds like hell. Some scientists even gave up because the sounds were so terrifying. In all honesty, it resembles the screams of those who are on fire in hell. Number 4. Underground World. Take a look at a startling find that was made in Moscow, Russia, in 2013, an underground city that turned out to be a massive sweatshop. In this sweatshop city, 260 people had been residing, the majority of whom were from China and other Asian nations. There were work tables everywhere in the underground metropolis, but there were also a cinema, a cafe, and even live chickens. The workers said that they had been imprisoned underground and were unable to escape the city. They'd been working 12-hour days for 7 days a week and were only paid $100 a week to this day. It's not known who owned this sweatshirt, but it's believed it was a high-ranking members of the Russian mafia. Number 3. Giant Pit. Moving on, we must check a huge pit. Do you really understand what occurs underground in your home? You could change your mind after watching this video. When Craig Wilson was performing some home maintenance, he noticed a little hole. When he poked around a bit further, he was astounded to discover a massive pit beneath his house. If Craig had fallen into the cavern, the hole would have fallen a full 16 feet, and it might have even sucked Craig's home in. It is still unclear if this was man-made or natural, but if Craig had fallen into it, he very likely would not have emerged. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take me 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal: you just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribes button and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 15 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 2. Rattlesnake Nest. Although it can be terrifying to come encounter a rattlesnake, did you know that snakes typically reside in sizable nests? When Michael Delaney was operating his drone one day, he noticed a snake hiding in the underbrush. He finds a large rattlesnake den after following its trail. When Michael uses his drone to get a close-up view of them, one of the rattlesnakes decides to strike. They shoot up and knock Michael's drone to the ground. Michael now understands that if he wants to see the drone again, he'll need to find a way to reclaim it. Eventually, he grabs a hockey stick and is able to rescue the drone. Michael had to go very close to this rattlesnake nest to do this. If it was me, I'd think I'd simply abandon the drone. It's not worth getting bitten by a loose rattlesnake. Number 1. Biggest live bomb. We must now examine a bomb that was discovered underground. Construction workers in Augsburg, Germany, were digging on Christmas morning when they came across something that forced them to flee for their life. A huge World War II bomb that had been placed underground in some manner weighed 1.8 tons and could have exploded if their excavating equipment had struck it in the wrong spot. The entire city was quickly evacuated by the authorities. On Christmas, 54,000 people were forced to leave the city. The bomb had to be transported far away by a bomb disposal unit before being controlled detonated, because if it had exploded, it would have spanned a full mile in all directions. On an actual city map, this is how the explosion radius would appear. It's a good thing the construction workers didn't mistakenly set it off, because thousands of lives may have been lost in an instant.